Now, you have to agree with me, art plays such an important role in our lives, in the way that we see it, the way that we feel about it, and the way that we interact with it. And that's what makes the Joburg Art Fair so interesting. The interaction and the experience that they give is just out of this world. Check this out.
Now in its 11th year, the annual Joburg Art Fair is a must attend. The event sees about 10,000 people over a 3-day period, celebrating artists both locally and internationally. And a main focal theme this year has to be how artists are documenting history and social changes in our world.
The event attracts a wide audience beyond only visual arts and spreads a diverse Joburg Art Week of open studios, workshops and debates across the city.
Mandla, talk to me about the history of the Joburg Art Fair. When and how did it come about?
It really came as a result that we didn't have a platform in this big city of ours, Johannesburg, where artists could congregate, collectors could congregate, the community could congregate to look at art, to buy art and to learn. So that's was really the driving force behind it being set up.
The art fair is in its 11th year now. What can people expect from this season?
I'd like to believe it's the best show we've ever produced. It's very reflective of the city where we live. We're a very Pan-African city. People from all over the world live in the city, so the show is very much a reflection of that. But also the content is very strong, so we are dealing with some heavy issues. Yeah, and I think it's a fair for everyone. You know, there's different content, there's different materials that are being used, and it's an exciting couple of days.
Among exciting creatives and galleries from across the continent, one South African who stood out was Billy Zangewa.
Billy, this is a very interesting exhibition you have here. I'm loving the whole jungle feel. Talk to me a little bit more about your work.
My installation is called The Garden, and it's basically a recreation of my own garden, because my work deals with my personal life and intimate moments in my intimate private space, and I wanted to bring the viewer into that in a 3-dimensional way.
Why would you say the Joburg Art Fair is such an important platform for artists?
It's just a beautiful event, and it's happening right here in our city in Johannesburg. It's not like you have to fly off to Europe or America to do it. It's Africa supporting African art.
Gives you a space to show your work and exhibit it to different collectors, curators from all over the world. And also it allows a space for people to come see work who don't usually go into gallery spaces. This work is titled Adrift. This one specifically is made out of used engine oil, so it's a very alive substance. So when I put it on the surface, it's very wet and it soaks into the surface and it's unprimed, so it seeps down the canvas.
Joburg Art Fair is a massive stepping stone for artists to get exposure. The number of visitors is more than you would see sometimes in the whole year at certain galleries, and you get that in 3 days. So I think platform and visibility are the #1 things that make it important for artists.
And Jabulo, you guys are responsible for helping emerging young artists. Tell me more about that initiative.
So basically what we do is find up-and-coming visual artists and help them penetrate into the market. So how that normally works is you either need a gallery or you need to get your work out there. So what we do is find you while you're still up-and-coming, maybe straight from tertiary, or you're a self-taught artist. We create exhibitions, pop-up exhibitions in and around Johannesburg. So that's how we ended up here. So the whole theme was just basically speak out and saying, you know what guys, here we are. This is what South Africa is capable of from all corners. It's not just Joburg or Cape Town.
Reaching across borders through the universal language of art was work from Namibia, Zimbabwe, Ghana, Australia, Uganda, Mozambique and more.
We work primarily at the moment, all Ethiopian artists. The artists that we work with, you know, they're mostly younger, emerging artists that do a lot of contemporary stuff. We are also excited, you know, to be here in the Joburg Art Fair, because this is our 3rd year and this is the 3rd time we're showing. In particular, Addis Gazahi, who has been warmly greeted here by art lovers, and we look forward to keep coming back here.
This is our 3rd year presence here, and in bringing this project, 3 masters and 1 emerging artist, I believe that we're helping in this diplomatic role, ambassadorial role, so that South Africans, not only collectors, but the general public, can discover what is and what identifies Angola and the Angolan contemporary art.
Fascinated international curators from institutions like Tate Modern were here to learn as much as to lecture.
When you walk through here, we're completely inspired. But also, there's a lot of work here that is educational. People can get to understand our history, get to understand some of the challenges that we faced with today, and also to project into the future.
I must say it's really nice to see how the Joburg Art Fair has grown from strength to strength over the years, as well as diversified while giving young artists the platform to really make a name for themselves in the industry. I'm really keen to see how it grows further in the future. Well, on that note, like the famous saying goes, let's continue to make art and not war.